This is our 23rd Lunch and Learn session, and it's on pairing your Yealink DECT headset to multi-cell or single-cell DECT networks. If you have any questions along the way, throw them up in the chat panel, and I will answer them probably at the end, honestly. Raise your hand if you want to ask anything over voice. All right, so what I'll be going through. I will be going through the Yealink headsets that can be connected to the single and multi-cell environments. While we know about DECT IP handsets that can connect to these environments, not everyone knows that you can directly connect the headsets as well. And those headsets are the WH62 and the WH63. Now, by registering these headsets directly to the Yealink DECT network, you have the ability to have an individual account to the headset, which lets you receive calls and allows you to roam your DECT network without it being bound to the phone itself. So you don't have to have you don't have to have it bound to a desk phone, a DECT phone with you, and so the range between the headset isn't bound between that device. It's just connecting to the DECT network itself. So how do you do it? So first thing is you need to enable registration mode on the W80 or W90 base. So if we don't do this step, then registering the headset onto the DECT network, it's going to be extremely difficult, and essentially you can't do it. So first, we need to log into the Yealink device manager, or the DM, from the web interface. Now, there's three methods to add a headset onto this. You can manually add the IP UI code of the unit, set it up via the auto provisioning file, or set it up with the registration mode. I'm going to go through registration mode because it's the easiest. The other two are, well, one involves playing with registration files, auto provisioning files, which is a bit of a pain. The other involves you manually writing down numbers and pasting them in. This one's the easiest, so we'll go through that way. So step one, log into the interface via the web GUI. Go down the menu to the handsets and accounts, then registration center. You'll see some options here. First thing is you'll see the start time, registration start time. So you want to set something in the future for when it starts to do the registration. Now, make sure you do it, I don't know, like a minute or two from when you want to do it. Don't set it something like, an hour or two in the future and then wonder why it's not working 5 minutes from now. So honestly, set it for like 1 or 2 minutes from when you're at this step. So when you're looking at getting the DM into registration mode, set it, I normally 1 or 2 minutes, that'll be fine. Then duration, that's how long it's going to be in the duration mode for. So how long the device manager is going to be in a mode looking for, new phones, new headsets, etc. So how long is it going to take you to register a headset? Realistically, once you've done it a few times, it's 5 minutes tops. But if you haven't done it before, give yourself some more time. Realistically, you can give yourself 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. If you don't want to really give tie yourself down to a time limit, you can give yourself 10 hours, whatever. When you're finished though, you can come in here and just click close. So you've got start and stop. So once you're finished, you can go stop that way. Otherwise, you can just set a realistic time and then not come back here. Okay, so now, again, make sure you turn registration mode on or else all this stuff's not going to work and you might be wondering why. And all right, so the W62 and the W63 headsets themselves have two individual modes, multi-cell mode and normal headset mode. To register these to the Yealink device manager, they need to be in multi-cell mode. The way you can tell the mode, what mode the headset is in, is indicated by the base of the unit. So the three buttons that you can see there. If the voice button is solid white, it means it's in multi-cell mode. If the PC button is white, it's in single cell. To set the headset up into pairing mode, it needs to be in multi-cell mode, which I'll cover in the next slide how to do that. So how do you actually pair it to the Yealink network and set the headset to multi-cell mode? Well, it's pretty easy, really. You simply hold down the voice and the phone button on the headset base for 5 seconds. So you just hold down those two buttons for 5 seconds. The LED of the headset base will flash 4 times, and the voice button will turn solid white, indicating indicating it's in multi-cell and ready to pair. So that's the first step, and you'll see that on the essentially it'll go white on the voice button. So after that's done on the base of the headset, the next step is to go into the Yealink device manager. So first you log into the Yealink device manager's IP address. So it's the same IP you would have used originally to get into to do the registration mode. Then we just logged it, go to handset and account registrations, add handset, select register handset. Now we actually did this already at the start. So as long as our window, the window we set is still open. So if you set it for like, 10, 20 minutes, then essentially you've done this already. Next time though, if you're setting up a new handset and you forgot to do the base, forgot to set the device manager into registration mode, this is essentially just the same steps. So you can skip, you just do it again. Okay, so next step is then you need to reboot the handset. So take the handset off its dock, so the charging dock, hold down the core control button, which is just the circle part of the headset, for 3 seconds to turn it off, and then hold it down 3 seconds to turn it back on. Realistically, I think it's around 3 seconds. Just do it for 5 or 10, just to make sure. It's not a big deal. Now, once it's back on, hold the core control button again for 5 seconds, and it will put the headset into registration mode. If this works, which it's 2 steps, I imagine it will be fine, you'll see it flashing orange, and you actually have an audio prompt on the headset saying pairing mode. So once you hear that audio prompt, if you're wearing the headset, at this point it should be registered. And after this step is done, you can actually log back into the device manager, and you'll be able to see it under the handset options, which I'll show you on the next slide. So as you can see here, here's just a screenshot of the headset registered with an extension number on it. Now, I know it says handset registration, but it actually comes up in this section. After you've registered the headset to the device manager, the DM, you'll be able to receive incoming calls. So you can't make outbound. So there's no outbound call functionality when you do this. However, if someone was to call that extension, that SIP extension like 6262, or if you have a DID assigned, which then goes to that particular SIP extension, it will ring, and then you can answer it on the headset without it being tied to a phone. Now, the next option you have is you can actually pair it. I mean, this is almost similar to what you already can do, slightly different. You can pair it to you can pair the headset with a handset. Now, this will allow the headset the ability to make an outbound call to the last number that was dialed, or basically the last number that called it. Now, you can't actually make an outbound call if you don't pair it to a handset extension. So that's really the difference. So if you want to just have it for inbound only, then you don't need to pair it to another extension. And if you do want to be able to make, call one particular number back, or call one number, like the last dialed number, then you pair it to a handset. So to do that, go through the same sort of steps, really. You need to put the thing into registration mode, which is what we went through originally. Again, 3 ways to do it. Manually adding in the number. You can then go to, or add it in the auto provisioning file, which is essentially adding in that IP UI number, which is the unique number of the handset, or set it to registration mode and do it that way, which is, I think, probably easier. So after you do that, go to handsets, accounts, handset registration. Now, if you want to register the handset to the headset, first step really is make sure they're both actually registered to the device manager. Now, pretty self-explanatory is you can't pair it if they're both not registered to it. But if you've only got the headset registered and then you're just trying to pair it to a phone, you just make sure they're both registered. I mean, it's very simple, but make sure they're both registered to the device manager. And that's it for that section there. So that once they're both registered, what you do is you select the handset you want to pair the headset with, and you go just to paired terminal. And that's just from the drop-down menu, which is on this slide. So here's a screenshot of a headset that's paired to a handset, which is like a W78H. So you click OK. The headset's now registered with the same extension number as the handset. Now, after this is done, you'll be able to see that you'll be able to see the headset under the paired terminal. All right, so that's all good. So how do you, now that's done, how do you interact between the headset and the handset from the actual headset? So you've got a headset that's paired. How do I do anything? Or how do I control stuff? When the headset is paired to a handset, it has 3 different functionalities. There's a push, retrieve, and redial. Incoming calls ring on both the headset and the handset simultaneously. And if you answer it on the handset, you can push it to the headset by going to the options on the handset and selecting push. This transfers the call from the handset to the headset. The next option you have is retrieve, which is essentially the opposite. Answer the call on the headset, and then you can send the call to the handset. So, sorry, you answer it on the headset, and then you can send it to the handset. And to do that, you hold down the trans key on that headset, and this will put the call back to the handset. The last one is the redial, which is, it redials the last call record. So to do this, you double tap the control button on the headset. So it's just the circular button on either the WH62 or the WH63. All right, so now you have a headset that is essentially still a headset on a network that you already had, and you're sort of wondering, what's the point, really? What did I do? No, I've got a headset that already had a headset. Why do I want to do it this way? Like, what's the point? Essentially, I guess it comes down to a few things. It's one of the main ones I think is it's not bound. The distance of the headset is no longer bound to being restricted to the distance from it to the phone. So it can wirelessly has its own DECT between itself and the network. So you can roam around without having to have a belt clip phone or anything like that with it. So that's not you don't have to have like a ball and chain with it. You can just have your headset, you can move around. You don't need to have that other link with it. What else have we got? It's the other thing, I guess, is on a technical part is you don't have to rely on the handset being charged. So you can have, I don't know, you might not hear it, but we definitely get it a lot. That's, complaints about the WH56 is 52, it runs out of battery, then, they have to put it on charge, that sort of thing. So if you have it paired with a headset like this, you can essentially, if one of them runs out of battery, you can use the other, or, you don't, it doesn't matter if you're using this headset and the handset itself runs out of battery, you can still receive calls on this. I mean, I know that this also has a battery and it also will run out, but it's not bound if someone's using it's not bound by the handset battery for it to be functioning. So sometimes you'll have a 52, 56, 73 that is low on battery, someone forgot to charge it, then they, for the day, well, they're just going to sit the whole day not being able to use their headset because the 73H ran out of battery or whatever. So there's that. You can roam around, put it on your head. So there's that sort of, luxury. Now, environments that you can use it in, they reckon a supermarket, a library, warehouse, retail. I mean, yeah, you could have it to, have the 63H or WH63 in your ear, and you can sort of just, do your job there, and someone can call you if they need anything. You don't necessarily need to be making outbound calls, but you may need to be notified. So someone can just call you to say, hey, I need this. Can you go here? In a warehouse, I mean, that's probably the one that I could, really think of, is if you've got, loud noise, or someone on a forklift who's roaming around the warehouse, or, driving between certain zones or between certain buildings locally. As long as it's within the DECT range, then they can just keep the, that earpiece in. And then if someone needs to call them, they'll be able to hear that. Doesn't need to have a horn speaker so they can hear it. So they can all they really need to do is just keep this on, in their ear, and then someone can just sort of call them while they're doing their, they might be emptying a shipping container, on their forklift, emptying, lifting boxes, doing that sort of thing, and they just get a call and they can just press the button to answer it, rather than, having to run and pick up the phone, or having to have something clipped to a DECT phone clipped to a belt clip, that kind of thing. Retail, probably the same deal. If you need to be called, that sort of thing. I don't know. I thought maybe, I don't know, security guard, maybe a bouncer. I don't know. Think of your own scenarios with it. I mean, it's just extra functionality essentially. So I guess for a conclusion, it has a few use cases for a single and multi-cell environment. It's not really going to be for everyone. After all, it is just a headset. So, however, some customers may find working in a warehouse, possibly need to interact or roam around the office, forklifts, noisy environments where they won't hear a phone ringing, keep the WH63 in the ear, be able to work. The headsets are still very good. I think this just gives them a bit of extra functionality in the environment that is available, and provides value to some customers in certain environments that, just some extra flexibility to the wireless DECT suite that they don't have in other ones. So, it has a niche. Some niches it'll be useful for. So, and it's still obviously a headset that you can use in the traditional method. You can still plug it into your PC. You can still, pair it to a phone, and you can also do this. So it's just an added extra that has a few use cases. So, I mean, you don't lose anything doing it. You have some added extras. So I think, it's all right. Yeah. So questions? Any, see there's a few in the chat. I'll see if there's anything, anything good I can answer. I'll try to. WH6263 support this setup, or is there a specific model? No, there's just 62 and 63 work in the multi-cell environment. So those two are the ones that are currently working in that particular model. So those two are the ones that support this. So the WH62 and WH63. For the W80 and W90, either single cell or multi-cell. Teams, not yet, because you can't do the DECT for Teams yet. And I say yet because they are releasing a SIP gateway option pretty soon, and that may open up doors for this. So once that's sort of released, you can have the SIP gateway option for DECT phones, then I imagine this may sort of come about, but today, no. Which is the which DECT dongle portable headset bundle? Oh, which is the new DECT dongle portable headset? At this stage, they only support the 62 and 63. What it looks like. Are you talking about the newer sort of headsets? I was trying to see if they were compatible. I couldn't see them. It may be something that they implement later, because I think the new ones are for Teams. Yeah, is that right? Pretty sure. But I can definitely. Do you have the models that you want me to? I can check it out if you give me the model numbers. You mate.
The new DECT dongle bundle is called the 62M or 62D-P, P for portable.
Right.
They carry a DECT dongle with the headset instead of the DECT base station.
Okay. Maybe. I'll have to get back to you on that one, honestly. The only thing I'm thinking now is how to set it into multi-cell mode when you have to hold the two buttons. If the DECT dongle doesn't have, I mean, it's just going to be a dongle that you connect, doesn't have those two buttons to hold to put multi-cell. Look, let me find out. I'll find out. It would be useful if it did. Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? All right, well, what I'll do, I'll end this now. And if you do have any questions or anything else, anything further, just send through an email to us or to myself, and I'll get back to you with any information you require. So thanks for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.